I have a public service announcement for every 40k player. You need to hear this. There are two ways of interpreting rules when you play Warhammer 40k. You have rules as written, and you have rules as intended. I am a, generally speaking, pretty strict rules as written kind of guy, because it's really hard for us as the player base to guess at what Games Workshop meant when they were writing words, when they were writing their rules. So when they write a certain rule, you basically got to play it the way it's written. There are a few exceptions, and today I'm going to present you with one of those exceptions. This combination I'm about to teach you is one of the most crazy strong things that has ever existed. There are others that could contend with this, of course, and it is clearly not the way the rules were intended to be played, but it is the way the rules are written right now. I will tell you that if you want to do this combo, you better be doing it to your best friend of 30 years, because if you're doing it to anyone else, you deserve a very swift flick to the penis head. And outside of that, screw your best friend over, but you should never do this to anyone. If I ever saw someone actually trying to pull this combo at a tournament that I was playing, I would just unenroll them from my tournament, because that's a player who just honestly... They're not good intended players. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you the combination. I want you to say it to your next opponent just to watch them melt in fear, and then like explain that you're not actually going to do that, because it's so clearly going to be fixed very, very quickly as soon as Games Workshop is aware of it, which is kind of why I'm making the video, because I want to make sure that they're aware of these combinations. Anyway, let's get into it. This is the Space Wolves Unkillable Combo. Now, this is very, very funny. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to take Murder Fang, and you're going to be using the Saga of the Beast Slayer as your detachment role, and you're going to lead him with whatever, a Wolfguard battle leader, or you're going to lead him with an Iron Priest or whatever. Because what the enhancement does, the Wolf Touch, will add 2 inches to the movement of a character, and it allows them to lead either a Wolfen or a Wolfen with Storm Shields unit. Now, the problem here is it is just very clear that Games Workshop, what they intended when they wrote Wolfen or Wolfen with Storm Shield unit, is that they intended for this to be the unit's name. However, Wolfen is also a keyword, and it doesn't specify that they're talking about the the freaking unit or the keyword. And since Murderfang has the Wolfen keyword, rules as written right now, you can lead Murderfang with the unit. Now, it gets a lot spicier than this, okay? I promise it's going to get a lot spicier than this. So as of right now, you can actually take a Space Wolf character and give them this enhancement, and then they can actually lead Murderfang. It's very obvious, yes, that what they intended was that this will allow the character to lead the Wolfen unit or the Wolfen with Storm Shields unit, but the way it is written is Wolfen can apply to anything with the Wolfen keyword, which is Murderfang, as I have posted here. Now, let's go on to the next step of this, which is, honestly, it's just pretty darn bonkers. This is what really makes it unkillable. It's a very insane interaction. It creates a rules paradox that no one other than slightly autistic people who love Warhammer on the internet are ever going to discover. I say that about myself as well. So one of the guys in my Discord found this, and it's just absolutely hilarious. Shout out. Oh, actually, I don't know if he wants me to say his name, so I won't say his name, but shout out to the guy in my Discord who discovered this. You know who you are. While a bodyguard unit contains a leader, it is known as an attached unit. So basically, when you have a leader leading a unit, you get an attached unit. So you got the bodyguard unit, and you have the character. So typically, this would be, you have a Justiciar leading a unit of Blade Guard veterans. The unit together is an attached unit, but it's made out of a leader and a bodyguard unit. All right, no problem. Now, it's treated as a single unit for all rules purposes. Each time an attack targets the attached unit, until the attacking unit has resolved all of its attacks, you must use the toughness characteristic of the bodyguard models in that unit, even if a leader in that unit has a different toughness characteristic. Now, in this particular scenario, Murderfang is the unit being attached to. So Murderfang would actually be the bodyguard unit in this particular scenario, meaning we are going to go ahead and use Murderfang's toughness, not the Iron Priest or the Wolfguard battle leader or whoever you're leading with characteristic or toughness characteristic. So we're already using Murderfang's toughness characteristic, which, you know, it's better. It's not amazing, but it's better. Now, the highlighted point of this is really, really, really important, okay? Each time an attack successfully wounds an attached unit, that is a leader and a bodyguard unit, that attack cannot be allocated to a character model in that unit, even if that character model has lost one or more wounds or has already had attacks allocated to it this phase. And herein lies the problem. Because Murderfang is now a bodyguard unit, but he is also a character unit. He has the character keyword, which means you can't allocate wounds to him, but you also cannot allocate wounds to the character that is leading Murderfang, meaning you cannot allocate wounds to either model unless you happen to have the precision keyword. So if you use, Epic Challenge, which is the basic stratagem to let you precision out a character, or if you have another ability to use precision, then you could put wounds on them. But without that keyword precision, you actually can't allocate wounds to either model in the unit, which more or less makes the unit completely unkillable. Sure, you can shoot it with whatever you want, they just can't take wounds. And it's a paradox, right? So there's no way the interaction actually operates, but rules as written, this is how you would have to go. You would have to go, hey, the only way you could wound either character in this unit is if you have the precision keyword. Outside of using precision, it's impossible to force me to allocate wounds to either unit, which is absolutely hilarious. So here's the deal, guys. Sometimes there will be rules as written that is just so clearly unintended, we can't play it, all right? I am actually going to do this on the tabletop because I've got a buddy who I'm going to go play with later, and I'm going to mess with his mind, and I'm going to let him understand the interaction. And then I'm going to let him know that I'm not actually going to do that because that's clearly not the way it works. But it's going to be very, very funny to see the guy's jaw drop when I explain it to him for the first time. So I recommend, if you want to have fun with this, do it to either your best friend of 30 years, who you're supposed to screw with, or just do it as a joke and then don't actually enforce the rules. Because, dude, I can tell you, if you go to any tournament and you ever tried to pull this, you'd get kicked out of the tournament. Like, this just, the interaction clearly doesn't work. It's very clearly meant to allow, the enhancement, is very clearly meant to allow the character to attach to either a Wolfen unit or a Wolfen with Storm Shield units. The units, not the keyword. And it's going to be cleaned up very, very swiftly. But enjoy it for now. Have fun with it. But don't be a jerk about it, okay? Like, seriously. If you're a TO out there and someone tries to spring this on you and they try to rules lawyer you, find them for a beer, and say, no, you can't do that. You can lead them. Like, all right, fine, you can lead Murderfang, but you have to allocate wounds to them. One of them. That's basically how I would roll it right now. Don't care that it goes against rules written. It is so clearly far outside the realms of what is the game actually, how the game actually operates, that this is not something that you should ever try to force. And if you're the type of player who would take an interaction like this and you would try to force it on your opponent, seriously, man, stop being a jerk. Just stop. Like, we play this game together, even though we get very competitive and we want to win. This is so far outside the realms of anything that has ever operated in the game that, like, no, this does not play. But anyway, the rule interaction actually does currently exist. It's silly. It's gonna be fixed post-haste. GW will release an emergency patch as soon as they realize the combination that's available in there. And hopefully no one ever gets to take advantage of this in the meantime. If you're playing someone who wants to do this to you, just and they're not your best friend of 30 years, tell them to get wrecked nerd and go play someone else, because that's what I would do. Anyway, with that, that's all I had the update for you today. Hopefully I'll get another video out for you guys later today. Got a fairly packed schedule, so I'm not positive I can. But until next time, remember, have fun playing Warhammer and play fairly with your friends. Until then, crump on. Bye-bye.